Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines. Iran's foreign minister says Washington shows no readiness for equal or fair negotiations, even after President Donald Trump hinted at talks. Dialogue efforts collapsed after Israeli and US strikes in June. Western states accuse Iran of seeking weapons under its nuclear program, which Tehran denies. Indirect talks stalled over uranium enrichment, a demand Iran refuses to drop. Bangladesh is on edge ahead of today's verdict against ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Several crude bombs exploded in Dhaka on Sunday, adding to days of unrest, though no casualties were reported. Security has been tightened across the capital, with police ordered to open fire on arsonists. Hasina is being tried in absentia on charges linked to a 2024 crackdown on student protests, which she denies. Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Asim Munir has warned that Pakistan will respond decisively to any provocation, citing the brief but intense May conflict with India. Speaking during a luncheon for Jordan's King Abdullah II in Islamabad, he said that Pakistan's army fights in the name of Allah and will never be intimidated. He called on New Delhi to resolve disputes peacefully, while stressing that even minor provocations will be met firmly. US President Donald Trump purchased at least $82 million in corporate and municipal bonds between late August and early October, according to new financial disclosures released Saturday by the Office of Government Ethics. The filings show over 175 transactions across industries influenced by Trump-era policies. While exact amounts for each purchase were not disclosed, the total maximum value could exceed $337 million. Mass protests erupt across Mexico after the November 1st murder of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo during a Day of the Dead event. Many demonstrators, rallying under the banner of Generation Z, demanded justice and an end to escalating violence and corruption. In Mexico City, clashes broke out outside the National Palace as hooded protesters tore down fences, prompting police to use tear gas. Benjamin Netanyahu says there is no change in his stance on a Palestinian state, even as US-backed diplomacy points in that direction. Speaking at a weekly cabinet meeting in Jerusalem, he warned that Hamas would be disarmed the easy way or the hard way. He also said he had ordered a tougher response to rising settler violence in the West Bank. Palestinians in Gaza City have launched a major rubble removal campaign with support from UN agencies and local groups. Organisers say it is the first step in dealing with 60 million tons of debris left after 2 years of war. The drive comes as Gaza remains split between Israeli military control and Hamas-held areas, with reconstruction plans still uncertain and costs estimated at $70 billion. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke by phone Sunday, reviewing Middle East developments, including the Gaza ceasefire, Iran's nuclear program, and Syria. The call, initiated by Putin, continued a series of discussions between the two leaders. Russia's foreign ministry said the talks also covered the exchange of detained persons. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country will receive gas imports from Greece to cover winter demand, as Russian strikes hit domestic production. In a statement, he said that nearly €2 billion in financing has been secured through European partners, banks, and US support. Kyiv is also expanding supply routes through Poland and working with Azerbaijan on long-term contracts. Ukraine is working to resume prisoner exchanges with Russia, aiming for the release of 1,200 Ukrainians, President Volodymyr Zelensky said Sunday. His security chief, Rustem Umerov, said talks in Turkey and the UAE, supported by Kyiv's partners, aim to return to the Istanbul Agreements of 2022, which set rules for coordinated swaps,
Exchanges have been sporadic due to frontline escalations since Russia's invasion in February 2022.
Russia says its forces have advanced sharply in Ukraine's southeastern Zaporizhzhia region, taking the settlements of Rivnopillya and Mala Tokmachka. Drone video released by the Defense Ministry shows troops holding Russian flags in Rivnopillya, though the filming date is unclear. Moscow says the gains threaten Huliaipole and Orikhiv with pincer movements. Ukraine has not commented.
With the United States absent from the UN's COP30 climate summit in Brazil. For the first time in 3 decades, China is taking a central role in global climate diplomacy. China's pavilion dominates the conference grounds in Belém. Clean energy executives present plans in English to international audiences, and diplomats work behind the scenes to drive constructive talks. Britain unveils its biggest overhaul of asylum policies in modern times, taking cues from Denmark's strict system. The Labour government aims to curb small boat crossings from France and reduce taxpayer-funded support for certain asylum seekers. The Home Office said the changes will revoke housing and allowance support for those who can work but refuse or break the law, prioritising aid for migrants contributing to the economy. Further details are expected Monday from Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood.
Libya's Red Crescent says at least 4 migrants died after 2 boats carrying 95 people capsized off the coast of Al-Khums. One vessel held 26 Bangladeshis, 4 of whom drowned. The second boat carried nearly 70 others from Egypt and Sudan. Images show bodies recovered and survivors receiving treatment. Libya remains a key, dangerous route for migrants trying to reach Europe. And Storm Claudia has killed 3 people and injured dozens in Portugal. An 85-year-old British woman died when a tornado hit a camping site in Albufeira. Earlier, an elderly couple drowned in Fernão Ferro as floodwaters rose overnight. President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa offered condolences, while authorities keep the Algarve and nearby districts under amber alert. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.